Alright, so in this video we're going to keep moving on forward and we will talk about kind of the issue we were having with the layout, and it finally did load, but it looks like this. So the point is that there's something wrong and we need to add one little piece here. So what we need to add actually is we need to add a scroll view. We didn't actually put that in yet. So we had a scroll view for the piece. We already saw that we had a functioning scroll view for horizontal stack this way, and now we need to add a horizontal scroll view, or sorry, a vertical scroll view for the rest of it. So what I want is I actually want to leave this piece constant at the top. So I'm going to put a scroll view that encompasses everything else down here. So I will go here to this VStack, and I will just take, I'll write scroll view, and now when it updates the preview, that should work exactly as we had wanted it to. So preview is lagging a little bit. We'll get rid of this as home. Stop it, let it go. And now it's exactly what we wanted. We wanted something where it scrolls on the bottom, and this one can still scroll this way, so that's perfect. Let's go ahead and get rid of this blue coloring here. We don't like that, so make it clear. Okay, and maybe this VStack, let's go ahead and make this VStack have a, let's give it a padding. Let's just see what the default padding looks like in here. There we go, that's looking pretty good. That's looking very good, in fact. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is notice that these are all these all look the same. And in this one, you know you're in Europe because the background is one color and the text is white, whereas all the ones you didn't select look like this. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we want to do is I'm going to create a new file here, a new Swift file, to hold all my data structures. So I'm going to create a new one. We'll call this structs and enums. Alright. And I'm going to import SwiftUI. I'm not going to use it for this piece, but I like to have it there. So, and we're going to create one called, we'll say, continents. Yeah. Or just so we don't get confused, because we have something else called continents, we'll just call this enum continent. Alright. And we have a couple of different options. We can be Europe, we can be Asia, we can be North America, South America, Africa. So these are all the different things that, they're all different potential values we could have. You know, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to content view now. I'm going to have this say state will be at default, so it'll be this continent, or will be equal to enum continent dot, and we'll pick Europe as the default. We're picking Europe as the default just because it's the first one on the list. So the next thing we need to do is, well, we need that actually, sorry, we need this piece here to be under home view, not under content view. So we will put it right in here. Yeah, right. Okay, perfect. So now that we have that there, what we can do is we can actually, we're going to add one more piece to this continent structure. We're going to say var, and we're going to say enum val is going to be of type enum continent. And so when we create each one of these, we need to set a value for it. So for Europe, we'll do dot Europe. Okay. And then I'm just going to copy and paste that, so it'll be nice and easy for us. Okay, and then this one will be Asia, this one will be Africa, this one will be South America, and this one will be North America. So what we can do with that now is we can hit resume and nothing has changed. But what we can do now is we can go here and where we have this coloring happening, we can say instead of saying the background color is always going to be this continent.color, we can say we can do a comparative. We can do a ternary operator. So we'll say right here we're looking for this continent. We'll write. Let's go ahead and change. Instead of this continent, we'll make this say current or selected continent. And we did that because we already have this continent being created somewhere else. So we just want to avoid any confusion. So right here, instead of just having, previously we had this say the background is going to be equal to this continent.color. Well, let's do something a little more sophisticated. Let's say background. And in a ternary operator, there's three parts. The first part is going to be, so first you have some sort of statement. That's part A. Okay. And then you're going to put a question mark, and you put what you want to happen if it's true, followed by semicolon, followed by colon. And then you have what you want if it's not true. So that is what a ternary operator looks like. So what we're about to write is we're ignoring this for a second, just we're going to get to that. So we're going to write selected continent equals this continent dot enum val. Okay, so that's our part A. And if that is true, then we do want this continent.color. But if it's not true, we want color.init. And we'll do like a nice light gray, red. And we'll write 0.7. Okay, we'll say green and blue. So we created a nice ternary operator. I'm going to take all that, I'm going to put it right inside, right there. So if I hit resume now, let's see what it says. We're in a closure, so we need to put self dot when we're referring to that value up there. So now when it refreshes, what you'll find is Europe is the one that we have selected as the selected continent, and because of that, Europe is the only one with a color. The other ones are all grayscale, kind of like that. And we'll just flip this logic. Essentially, we're just going to flip it for the actual foreground color. So get rid of this for now. Let's pick a nicer, lighter gray, 0.85 maybe. Okay. So that was for the background color, and for the foreground color, we'll just say, I'll comment that out for a second. So we'll say dot foreground color, and we will say self dot selected continent equals this continent dot enum val. And if it's true, then the text will actually, we'll just do color dot white. But if it's false, then we'll use this continent dot color. And now when it refreshes, this is starting to look a lot like this here. We'll even do even lighter, 0.95. They all need to be equal for it to be a grayscale color. Now that is truly starting to look a lot like this. Okay, so that takes care of taking these colors, make sure they're in the right, they look nice. We set up an enum to make sure we can always keep track of which continent we've picked. And what we can do now is we can actually turn these into buttons. So let's go ahead, instead of just having these as texts, what we can do is, let's get rid of this. Okay, so right here we have text, this continent.name.padding. So this whole area refers to each one of these buttons. Okay, so what I'm going to do for a second here, that's actually inclusive of these as well. So I'm going to select all of it. I'm going to click Control I, it'll re-indent everything properly, okay? So it helps us see things better. So this entire area from here to here, all of this is just us setting up each one of these, okay? So what I want to do is I want to actually create a button. Drag and drop from library. I'm going to take all this text here, and I'm going to drop it inside of this part of the button. Copy it and paste it, okay? And once I've done that, I just want to make one more change. I want to say the action when I click this button, I want to every time you click this button, I want to change the selected continent. We'll say it's going to be equal to this continent dot enum val. So what I just did is probably going to give me an error right there. Self. Now every time I click on one of these, it actually changes, it updates that value. So that'll let us pick a new one. We're resetting the value of selected continent based on the enum val of the button we clicked. And so that's letting us update the UI in real time. So that's how we can almost filter through different locations when we have a real app. So I think this is a good place to stop. We made a good amount of progress, and we'll keep moving along from here in the next video.